9:44 p.m. and well. We are in the home stretch, ladies and gentlemen, taking you right up to midnight tonight as we boost the Cuse, and the most enthusiastic person on campus, maybe in Orange Nation, Otto, joining us right now. Otto, can we get a good high five? Get a good solid high five. There we go. Otto cruising around campus, thrilling the Newhouse students right here, and maybe trying to make this next segment difficult for a former Syracuse grad and sportscaster trying to get through the teleprompter right now. Otto, I love you. I love you. Scott Hansen here with you alongside Otto. Most of us have spent the day online watching from your various devices, maybe to and from work. Some of you are on vacation, I know, watching. We thank you so much. If you're watching on or near campus, that's fantastic. But there was at least 6 different events around the United States that were in-person events for people to boost the Cuse and get together and share their stories. We've asked you to take your photos and send them in. I think Los Angeles, your event, my current hometown, LA, is just, do you ever gone Hollywood, Otto? You ever gone Hollywood? Of course you have. Otto shops in Beverly Hills exclusively. LA, take your photos, send them in to us on social media or through the website, and we'll show some of those there. Top Golf in Atlanta, shout out. You had Largo, Florida, the Tampa Bay area, Washington, D.C., Chicago, New York. At the Fisher Center, you all got together. We're going to check out those photos here again in just a little bit. But we head from Midtown to Maxwell with a legendary Syracuse University professor. If you are a Copelandite, you know exactly what I'm talking about and who I'm talking about. Professor Bill Copeland. He's credited with founding the Policy Studies program for more than 4 decades, or better part of it for more than 4 decades, founding it 4 decades ago. It's a long time. That's almost older than you, Otto, as a matter of fact. Yes, I know your birthday's coming up. Don't worry, we got a big cake for you. You're going to enjoy it. It's fantastic. Maybe put you in another Sports Center commercial. You never know. You never know. Well, hey, we sat down with the chief do-gooder, Mr. Copeland himself, as he ran through 10 skill sets that he shares with students as part of his Skills Win program. Otto, get out a notebook, take some notes right here. There's something in this for all of us. Here's Professor Copeland.
Well, I'd like to sort of make a little analogy. Are you Bart Simpson or Alfred E. Newman, or are you Bill Gates or Michael Jordan? If you just say, what me worry, and just relax and say you're going to do things and not do them, not do what you're supposed to do, you're not taking responsibility. It's the key skill set for all the other skill sets. I think if you don't type 35 words a minute, you're a loser. So you should really know to do that and practice it. You just get on computers and learn how to do that. There are a variety. Most important is your health, both mental and physical. And get enough sleep is a good idea, and eat well. And you don't realize how important it can be for your entire life. So verbal communication is very important, and people tend to babble and not answer the question. When somebody asks you, do you think we should do A or B, don't start arguing about what A and B are. Say B, because that's what the question they asked you. Writing is very important now. When we're talking about writing to communicate, not to emote and feel good and be a novelist and all that kind of stuff, but to actually express an idea that you want somebody to act on. And it's not easy to do that. So one of the most important skills is getting along with others. And your goal is that everybody should like you and respect you, and the only way to do that is for you to like them and respect them. And Dale Carnegie is the key to this, and I suggest you all buy How to Win Friends and Influence People. So when we come to influencing people, you don't realize how big a role that is in your life, and it involves a lot of things. For example, everybody's a teacher. Everybody's a teacher. You teach your kids, you teach people that you work with, and that's a key skill, as is sales. Sales, you will always do sales no matter what career you're in. You're selling your ideas, you're selling yourself. Sales is critical. In today's world, you have tools that you can find answers to everything, and you don't have to go to college to do that, although if you have a college education, it may help you. There's all kinds of information out there, and the key is to get the information you need, which is not so easy because there's too much information. Well, Excel is life. If you don't know Excel, you're not going to make it. And they've been trying to replace Excel with all this fancy stuff. Just forget that. No, that's no good. It's Excel. Everything's about data and analyzing data and displaying data in all your decision making. And of course, if you're like a baseball fan, you got to get into this data analytic thing. So you've got no choice. You've got to be able to find the information you need, which is also very difficult because there is so much information. The liberal arts people like to talk about critical thinking, but of course they never define it. I won't even talk about that. I think they mean asking and answering the right questions. The most important one of that is detecting nonsense, of which is 95% of the stuff you run into every day. And you want to be able to pay attention to detail. When my students write back and say, I'm glad you put me through the torture of 101 because you kept taking points off when I missed detail, and now I'm in a job and I don't want to get fired. Everything is about solving problems, from very mundane things in your life to really big problems. And it's a little bit of a misnomer because in most cases you never solve a problem. I call it ameliorate a problem or reduce the problem, especially as you go up the food chain to politics and government. But even in your own personal situations, you might not get perfect resolution, but you always must be trying to problem solve. It's been a tremendous framework for me to do my stuff. And my stuff is to help students succeed. And the university has been very nice to me and supported what I've done. And I've, most importantly, had a really good time because I'm a happy professor.
Bill Copeland, professor, one of a kind here at Syracuse University, and to so many of you of his former students, undoubtedly a game changer when you interacted with him here on the Hill. Now, you can support the Bill Copeland Policy Studies Scholarship for policy study majors by clicking Support What You See on your screen right now. Please consider that. Speaking of Syracuse University and game changers, well, we had the events going on. I mentioned some of these before. I think we've got photos now, do we? We have the photos of some of the formal gatherings of various alumni clubs and just Syracuse friends and family here. We had Top Golf, Atlanta, Georgia, a sold-out event. I want to know who had the high score in Top Golf. Another, what I assume was a warm gathering down in Largo, Florida. The Tampa Bay area alumni gathered for a trivia night. I also want to know who won that, who had the high score. Then we move up the East Coast to Washington, D.C. Folks gathered at a wine bar to talk orange and sip a little of the grapes. Then over to the Windy City, Chicago area alumni enjoyed a beer tasting. And then New York City, the Lubin House, Fisher Center, where the alumni gathered there in Midtown. Hope everyone has had a great time. Thank you for putting up with me for as long as you have right now, as I've been on your screens and devices for so long. It's a labor of love, and I hope our passion and enthusiasm for our great institution has translated through the camera lens here. Well, we just finished with Bill Copeland, a game changer. You want to talk about a game changer, a literal game changer, the great Mike Tirico Earlier today, we caught up with him on Boost the Cuse 2023. Special treat for us right now on Boost the Cuse. I wanted to welcome our next guest with maybe a chorus of John Williams' Olympic fanfare, or perhaps some amalgamation of Joan Jetts and Carrie Underwood's and Faith Hill's Waiting All Day for Sunday Night. But they tell me that we're trying to raise money for Syracuse, not spend the entire budget on ASCAP music fees. So instead, we will just welcome him right here to the Dick Clark Studios, a man you know and love. He's on your living room televisions when a major sporting event is on. One of the best of us here. Syracuse University graduate, trustee, and sportscaster extraordinaire, Mike Tirico. Mike, how are you? Good to see you. Where do the life and times of Mike Tirico find us today?
Yeah, getting away from the cold weather for a little bit, getting ready for busy spring with the Masters and the Kentucky Derby, 8,500, all that good stuff. But thank you for what you're doing today, Scott. This has been fun to watch already, 44 after the hour for 16 straight hours, only hour 3, so pace yourself. It's twice as long as your normal days on NFL Red Zone. But I love this. This is bringing our community together as we celebrate another birthday for Syracuse and celebrate some of the remarkable things that are happening on campus. And I think this is a great chance for so many people to hear about the great things beyond athletics. The athletics we hear about all the time.
Yes.
But this is a great chance to hear about so much other stuff as well.
100%, and there's more to come, Mike. I don't know if you've seen the entire program, but just stick with us for as much as you can stay. 44 minutes after the hour, dip in. There are some amazing Syracuse stories that will be told here on this day-long, 16-hour broadcast. But look, you and I are sports guys. We're part of the Newhouse family, let's just say.
You got it.
I don't like that term. I got a list here. I'm going to read the names. You know them all, but I still marvel at it when I think about it. Bob Costas, Dick Stockton, Marv Albert, Marty Glickman, Len Berman, yourself, Sean McDonough, Ian Eagle, his son Noah, Adam Shine, Bill Roth, Andrew Siciliano, Hank Greenwald, Andrew Catalan, Jason Benetti, Beth Mowins, Dave O'Brien, Adam Zucker, and our guy Dave Pash. And at the risk of naming some, you leave out others, but that's just a list of some of the great on-camera and on-microphone Syracuse grads. That doesn't even include all of the tremendous professionals behind the scenes, producers, directors, technical folks. Mike, it's fair to say Syracuse University has impacted, entertained, and served hundreds of millions, if not billions, of sports fans through the decades. It's a huge point of pride for me, and I know it is for you as well.
It is. I never thought of it that way. And Scott, you're right in so many ways. And you mentioned the people behind the scenes as well. So many great producers, directors, associate producers, executives in the industry. Our athletic director now, John Wildhack, we're so lucky to have him as our athletic director. He spent so much time at ESPN as one of the great executives there. And Sunday Night Football and the NFL draft, when it began on ESPN, John was a huge part of all of those endeavors as well. So many people across different scopes of not just sports media, but the general media as well, news, entertainment, and all of that. But the sports program is near and dear to our heart. What I love is on a Sunday afternoon of NFL football, you and Andrew Siciliano for the last many years on 2 separate channels have been doing this unbelievable revolutionary Red Zone broadcast, bringing everyone every game almost all at once. Both Syracuse alums, no matter which provider you had to watch Red Zone. And then I get to do a game. We've had weekends where Ian Eagle, Noah Eagle, Andrew Catalan, Beth Mowins are all working for CBS or Fox. I'm doing a game. I think there was a week last year where we had 4 of the 16 NFL games. 4 of them were called on TV by Syracuse alums.
So awesome.
Let alone the 5 local radio broadcasts with Syracuse alums like Greg Papa and Dan Horde, who you mentioned, Nish Sharoff, Jason Horowitz as well. So we love what Syracuse has represented. And the joy of it that maybe people don't see is we all stay connected. We all are in touch with each other, root for each other from afar. There's a WAER Sports from our generation group chat that is going on and around. And we had Andrew Catalan jump into the group chat this past week after he had a great call in the NCAA tournament.
He sure did.
And that's the spirit of Syracuse.
Yeah.
you are one of us, SU, you just flip it around, you are one of us, right? So everybody stays connected, and you can go years or not even be from the same time on campus. You're still part of the same family. That's what I love about our sports broadcasters, our Newhouse alums, but all of our alums across. My wife played women's basketball. That group is so connected by Felicia Leggett-Jack coming back on campus, 20-win season in the Sweet 16 of the women's NIT. If you're in the New York area, they play at Columbia on Friday. Turn Columbia's place orange and blue and get Syracuse to continue on in that tournament.
Nice.
So we're so excited of all the connections we have as a university, and I love that we're able to celebrate them all together on a day like this.
Well, so well said, and not surprisingly so coming from you. But today is also a call to action. It is a call to our fellow alums to say, if this place impacted you as it did me as a man and as a broadcaster, and I know you would say the same thing, let's pay it forward. Let's invest in this generation and the generations to come to keep Syracuse one of the premier institutions of higher learning in the United States and therefore in the world. Can you speak to the folks right now? The people are watching all around the country and all around the world too. We've heard from people in Asia, I believe Europe as well, probably South America, up in Canada as well. Just speak to those folks as one of the faces of Syracuse and how we can make a difference today, this day.
I love the opportunity to, Scott. And you mentioned Florence is the headquarters for our SU abroad program, and semester abroad is a big part of a lot of students' experience as well. So I know we have alums who not only have come from other countries to boost our international flavor on campus for their 4 years, but a lot of us, I didn't get the chance to do it, but a lot of us in our time at Syracuse went abroad as well. Look, I love being a part of that group that you just mentioned with the other Syracuse alums who are TV sports announcers and radio sportscasters, men and women. But I've been honored and touched the last 5 years to have the chance to be a part of the board of trustees and get to see what this university does for people, how it changes lives. You had Mike Haney on earlier. Mike Haney, the vice chancellor, and Chancellor Syverud had unbelievable fortitude to keep our university open during COVID. And it made a difference. We were held up in very high regard by a lot of institutions around the country because of the work that people on our campus did to make sure that the student experience continues to grow. I was on a call yesterday. We have meetings throughout the year. Everyone wants to make sure that the student experience at Syracuse continues to be as good as it possibly can be, and that doesn't happen without support of our alums and our friends too. It's not just alumni, but it's our friends as well. So if you have been touched by Syracuse, whether it's going to the JMA Wireless Dome to root for a team, you were a part of a team, your son or daughter has gone to Syracuse, whatever it might be, if you've been connected to the university, what a great day to say thank you, however you can, however generous you can be in your world. And we know times are not easy, but it's important to make sure that Syracuse remains the place where the next generation can write their Syracuse story, because we all have them. We all love sharing them. A lot of us say, I don't know if I'd get into the school today. That's okay. There are places at Syracuse for everyone, and we want it to continue to be that way. And the only way that happens and our university remains this really unique and special subset of higher education is if you find it in your heart to give to the university, support us wherever you can in what you love. You're a Newhouse alum, donate Newhouse. You're an athletics alum, go over there and donate. Liberal arts, political science. I'm a proud Maxwell alum. My wife's a Whitman alum. Whatever it is that calls you, call and share and say thank you and pay it forward to the next generation of Syracuse alums. So look, we all know that if there's an Orange alum somewhere in your neck of the woods, it's a better place. So let's make sure that the world continues to be a better place by spreading our Syracuse love across the country.
I love it. I love it. Mike, I got one last chance here to ask you a Syracuse-related question. You and I are talking at a time in Syracuse history that really is unprecedented, especially from the world of sports. Jim Boeheim coached his final game, one of the on the Mount Rushmore of Syracuse humans.
Yes, correct.
Can you encapsulate what he has meant to this university? And he still says he's going to be a part, and thankfully so. And he says Syracuse will always be home for him. But what this man and his almost half a century involved has meant to Syracuse University?
Very simple, Scott. No individual has done more for a city than Jim Boeheim has done for Syracuse. You could say some have done as much, yes, of course, but think about it. Think about the 60 years spent. Think about the investment in the community that Jim and Julie have made philanthropically over all that time. Think about the attention Syracuse basketball has drawn internationally, all because Jim Boeheim stayed here, built this program up, and has really made it recognizable. People know the Dome everywhere. It's one of the most unique settings. People have said, wow, 30,000 people for a basketball game? That doesn't happen anywhere in the world except on our campus. That would have never happened if not for Jim Boeheim's ability to recruit players, coach them, have a style that the fans and the players love. And as he said at his farewell press conference when Adrian Autry was named the head coach, and we're so excited to keep it in the family and have Red leading the next generation of the Orange basketball team, Jim said, these people have come out in 10, 15, 20 below wind chill inches, feet of snow, and still come to a basketball game. It's all because of what Jim built. So from a sports perspective, no one has ever done more for one city in the sports world than Jim has done for Syracuse. I think we're all thrilled that he is going to stay around and be a part of helping the next generation of Syracuse basketball and Syracuse University students continue to enjoy the great times that so many of us have had along the way.
Perfectly said. And if Coach Boeheim's watching, Coach, we love you. On behalf of the university, you know that. And if Coach Boeheim's friends are watching and could get him that message from Mike and myself, would certainly appreciate that. Mike, look, it's a day of giving. Very few have given as much as you have, sir, in terms of your talent and your treasure, and today, your time. We thank you for joining Boost the Cuse. Go Orange, my man. As a fellow sportscaster, I told you this at the Super Bowl a couple years ago. You're the best of us, buddy. You're the best of us. I'm proud to be a fellow Syracuse alum with you.
Proud to share it with you, Scott, and with everybody else. Have a great day. I will be with you all the way through midnight tonight. I know Pete Sala's set up for the 11:44 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Eastern time. I'm going to be with you guys every hour on the hour. Keep cranking. And folks, please be generous and donate. And let's all stay forever orange.
The singular Mike Tirico on Boost the Cuse 2023. Thank you, Mike. And we had that conversation earlier. Mike, we're holding you to that. Couple more hours to go. Join us right up until midnight Eastern here tonight. All right, let's wrap up this portion of the show by heading back out to the Joyce Hergenhan Auditorium for a performance by the Mandarins, Syracuse University's all-female a cappella group.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In the small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, and I'll be seeing you.
Every time I'm driving down 81 and it peaks over the hill, I still get chills. That subtle skyline of steeples, spires, and domes, like a little city on top of a city, rising over everything. Here's the thing. You think you know Syracuse University. You think it's... And...
Midcourt, Dewitt, 25-footer, yes! Off the glass and in!
And you're not wrong. But that doesn't begin to tell our story. Not by a long shot. Syracuse's Comstock and Krause, Walnut and Waverly, University and Marshall Street. Yeah, this campus is pretty as a postcard. But it sure isn't flat. It carves and winds, climbs and dives, inviting exploration. That's kind of the whole point. Syracuse gives you the space and freedom to figure out who you want to be. And turns out, who we are is a lot of things. Groundbreakers, change makers, artificial heart creators, spacewalkers, and shuttle commanders. Most of all, we're storytellers.
Cue camera one.
We tell stories on courts and fields, stages and pages. Stories of how it all began.
We've just seen two neutron stars collide into each other.
Stories that flow.
Yes.
Stories that are smash hits. We're even writing the next chapter in our country's history. Now, what's a good story without character? We've got plenty of it.
What you're talking about?
We're a little sassy, a little sarcastic. Hey, our streets are covered in salt now, not sugar. It shouldn't be surprising that we tell it like it is. Some of us say
Syracuse.
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 Others say
Syracuse.
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 Syracuse! Come on, man!
But no matter how we pronounce our name, we all shout it proudly. Especially here. That's right, the Loud House. Walk these grounds and you'll hear the whispers of legends.
It's Boyd Little taking a pitch around his own left.
44 is not just a number here. It's a mark of excellence, a symbol of obstacles surmounted and barriers smashed. All that on this little hill? That's right. But that's the beauty of this place. The other New York, upstate New York. The one with 4 seasons, 46 peaks, Finger Lakes, Great Lakes, even Green Lakes. And okay, if we could address the big white elephant in the room.
Sometimes the snow comes down in June.
Yes, there's snow. Lots of it. But before you go feeling sorry for us, don't. Because no one can rock a Parker with a pair of shorts like we can, right? Do you even know how pretty a city can look under a fresh white coat? No matter how cold it is, it ain't nothing a bite of varsity pizza can't fix. See, people here endure the messiness of life, the slush and the grit and the grime. Come here the first day the weather breaks, and you'll find that our spirit never did. Visit on a crisp October day with the Krause chimes ringing and the foliage peaking, and you'll see the true colors of this place. How's that for a Rust Belt? At Syracuse University, the climb up the hill is never easy, but there's always a fresh view at the top. Then you will feel the pull of Syracuse. You will know the power of this place and why so many choose to call it home. Look at Cuse, and you'll see us in our name. And when you're one of us, it's forever.